Hello and welcome to this demo of Portworx Data Services, what's new in the November release. So the first thing we're going to look at is user API keys. So we're going to create a key. You can see I've already have one created. And we're just going to create a brand new one, show you how easy that is. Hello. Make it 7 days. And copy that key. Now that key can be used for anything in the REST API to connect. So based on my permission. So it's tied to my user account. So we'll just use this sample code that I have here, some Python that can do REST calls. So we'll first create this bearer token, if I can spell the word. And now let's just run a sample little program. This says get account, but actually what it does is it checks all my target clusters and make sure they're healthy. So I can check if they're all healthy. And if there's any unhealthy ones, I can remove them if I want to, those kind of things, right? Right now, everything's healthy. That's great. So all 15 of our clusters there are good to go. And now you've seen the user API token in action. But let's say, hey, you just posted your token on the internet. What do? Right? You disable it. And I can actually delete it now. Type in the name. We're good. Beautiful. So now we'll look back on a couple of things now when we look at data services, some new things around searching. So we can actually search our services when you have a lot of them. Give you a quick search there where you can quickly find services based on their name, whatever words you type in there, names, whatever. Or we can filter our clusters. So if you have lots of target clusters like I do, we can narrow it down to my EKS cluster and a certain service like Kafka, right? So I can see every instance of that data service on that particular cluster. So that's the second cool new thing in the November release, is the being able to little bit of organizational things that are built in there. And then finally, CSI support. So by default now, PDS will use the CSI provisioner in Portworx if your cluster supports it. So it detects that when you install the new thing, and we can actually look at our storage options and see that it will have an auto detect on any of the previously made ones, but it will default to the CSI now. Or you can create a new one and say, hey, I'm going to call this the CSI only. So I'm going to actually make sure it always uses Portworx CSI to use that option. So this actually wouldn't work on a cluster that doesn't support it. But you can see the provisioner is Portworx CSI versus auto detect. But the other big thing is it will now default to the CSI provisioner for any of the provisioning that it creates. So another thing is we now support Google Anthos PDS. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any other questions, please reach out to your Portworx team. Thank you very much.